We need resilience to be able to overcome any of the many, many obstacles that we have in this world. If I just have you for a second, let me tell you what resilience is in a nutshell. And it is the fortitude or the strength to be able to deal with really difficult life experiences and to not allow those things to set us back functionally. So we can continue to maintain our relationships and maintain our careers and maintain our love and meaning in the world, even though we go through or have gone through incredibly difficult, traumatic life experiences. The very first misconception I want to dispel is that it's not important. People get an undergrad in psychology, or they get a degree in therapy even, or people go and study to become a life coach and don't understand the basic concepts of what resilience is and how it is essential in our life. And then, of course, how to develop it. We need to understand how to develop it, or else understanding how important is useless. Modern psychology has researched this actually really well. Like, it is very well understood in the positive psychology movement, and humanistic and existential psychologists have researched this for years. And the interventions, I call them deeds, the things that we can, the therapeutic assignments that we can give people are profound, and they work. One of the major misconceptions of resilience is that you cannot develop it, that you're like born with a certain amount of like zeal or toughness, and that you don't develop it throughout your life. And that is the biggest misconception I have found. People say, oh, I couldn't get through that, or this is too stressful for me, as if we aren't growing the whole time. And then we look back in our life and we say, okay, well, I overcame that thing, but that was because I'm tougher now than I was. This is what it's like to build resilience. Everyone has built resilience to some degree in our lives, because if we don't, we'll still be that childish and infantile person that we were the first few years of our life. The next misconception is that to develop resilience, that you have to go through like tons of really hard, difficult traumas and life experience and you get tougher. It's not the only way to develop resilience. We can develop resilience by going through all these hardships and traumas, and certainly when we survive those things, you know that phrase like, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger? That's true. It is actually correct. But here's the thing. You don't need to go through life's traumas to get the benefit of growing resilient. And in fact, it's actually foolish to wait for life's traumas to come to make us tougher. If we wait, then we won't be prepared when really negative and difficult and hard life experiences come to us, and they will. We all are going to lose somebody close to us. We are all going to go through hardships in our careers or in our relationships or with our children as we raise them. It is difficult. Life is difficult. And we need resilience to deal with life stressors. People think that trauma and daily life stressors and anxiety affects our life in ways that cannot be addressed or are not repairable. And I've got to say that the research is in on this, and that we can address life stressors and trauma, especially when they're in the past, but also we can prepare for them when they're in the future. We can prepare for things that have not yet happened. And we don't have to torture ourselves to do that. You don't have to harm yourself to prepare for more harmful life experiences. That would be silly. What we need to do is continually find things that strengthen us. The things that are memories that are positive of the past, or learn how to shift our focus and our beliefs onto things that build our strengths and our gratitude and our positive life experiences so that we can continue to overcome life's traumas. Frequently, people focus on what they need to change in their life, and it's actually a big mistake. Because it's usually not something we need to change about ourselves. It's usually something we need to reveal about ourselves, that we are suppressing, or something that we are unable to refine, that we just ignored. Something about ourselves that we need to come forth. What we need to do is reveal our strengths and reveal who we really are inside, and not focus on the perceptions we have about who we have become and what we need to change. We have to reveal our strengths that we often suppress, strengths that we often overlook, or strengths that we disregard because we see these huge weaknesses in our life, or we see our shortcomings, or we see the things that we wish we would have done that we didn't. And instead of focusing on what we should have done, or what we could be changing, or what we didn't do, we need to focus on the strengths inside of us that we very often suppress. Cognitive behavioral therapists might call this addressing our thinking errors, or psychoanalysts, or specifically Jungian psychologists, might call this shadow integration. And there's a lot of different names out there for this, but the concept is, and in the way that I teach it through these psychoeducational courses, is that we need to reveal who we are, not change who we are. And the last misconception I want to address about resilience is that people think, okay, well, I can build resilience now for the future, and that's great. But what if I've already been harmed so deeply it holds me back? Like what if things have already hurt me in the past? And maybe I'm ready, like I could handle those same traumas now, but I wasn't ready for them at the time that they happened. And that's a really legitimate question. That's a good point. Like, what if it's already too late? The good news is that building resilience now will actually help you overcome past life events from this life that were too difficult and that we couldn't overcome. The thing that I can help people with this campaign is building resilience so that you can overcome obstacles, transcend your trauma, and alleviate your anxiety. I know for a fact that when we want something and we believe that that thing is achievable, our brain starts to look for ways to align itself with our behaviors, to create a world around us in which the thing that we want or believe in can come to fruition. Thanks so much for sticking around, and I hope you find this whole campaign super, super helpful. I appreciate it. I have gratitude for everybody that even takes time to hear my voice. I feel like I have the best job in the world, and I'm thankful for it. Thanks a ton.